here someplace. Well, of course I would, Rod. It would be an honor. I'd be out there with you. I'd be speaking American, not that Spaniard stuff that some of these people around here talk. I'll talk in American. So yeah, just you can go to my website and get the information if you want me to actually come out and speak to your organization. And it's a good time. Like this Thursday, I will be out in Easton, Massachusetts, giving a keynote message out there. And again, that information and time and everything is on rodeccles.net. So just go over to and check the the events page. I think it's the events page, and you can see some other booked events. Working to add more as we speak. There are some in the works, so there will be more all over the place. So we'll see. But back to Rubio. Tuesday's story by the Times headline: struggles with finances track Marco Rubio's career. It said that Rubio stands out not only for his youth and dramatic political rise, but also for persistent doubts about his personal financial management. Now, a review of Rubio's family finances, including many new documents, reveals a series of decisions over the past 15 years that experts called imprudent. Significant debts, a penchant to spend heavily on luxury items like the $80,000 speedboat and the lease of a $50,000 2015 Audi Q7, a strikingly low savings rate, even when Mr. Rubio was earning large sums in inattentive accounting that led to years of unpaid local government fees. Whoa. So, Mr. Rubio is a bad guy for buying a speedboat and paying for it with his own money and leasing a 2015 Audi Q7. And having a low savings rate. Well, he's got to pay for the speedboat and the Audi Q7. Besides, he's a senator. He doesn't got to save for retirement, right? And unpaid local government fees. Oh, you mean like, I don't know, Tim Geithner not paying taxes, like Al Sharpton not paying taxes and owing the IRS money? Yeah, okay. I think those government fees do not add up to $4 million like Al Sharpton. Anyone? Don't see the New York Times thumping Al Sharpton for owing as much as $4 million in back taxes. Don't see the New York Times thumping the Clintons for their spending or their need for such large sums of cash, as in $500,000 for a speech. But you know what? You can't blame Bill. If there are people out there willing to pay him $500,000, more power to him. I'd do it. Yeah, why not? If somebody's willing to pay me $500,000 for giving a 20 to 40 minute speech, why should I say no? Look, I don't blame them for it, but at the same time, do not sit out there and preach to us about how Mr. Rubio, spends imprudently or about this rich person does that or got his money this way when you've got your own people earning questionable sums in a questionable manner. Plain and simple. You can't win this argument, New York Times. I don't know why you even tried to open. It's going to end up hurting Hillary. Especially with Rubio, because he's not going to put up, with this kind of stuff. Now, the Times also said that separate to his personal spending patterns, there were instances in which he intermingled personal and political money. Oh, you mean like the Clintons did? This is the same thing and same tactic that they tried to pull on Mitt Romney. Remember that? This is the same thing, although with Romney it was, due to much more money. But this is the same kind of garbage that the New York Times tried to pull on Romney. And Romney didn't really fire back, but the Rubio camp is firing back. Good to see. He needs to put them in their place now. This is also from Market Watch. That he spent, chastising it. One luxury item it was cited for an $80,000 speedboat. I guess that's a luxury item, but if you're making $200,000 a year or more, maybe $80,000 for a boat is not so imprudent. You can probably afford the payments on it. You're not spending $80,000 all at once. You're probably putting down a significant chunk, and then you're making payments over time. And you could probably, over 10 or 15 years, you could probably afford those payments. A lot of people probably could. There wouldn't be any difference. Now, the Times said that the issue of how Senator manages finances caused such doubt that it was flagged by Mitt Romney's presidential campaign when Rubio was vetted as a possible Romney running mate back in 2012. Now, the Times reviewed the Rubio family's finances and found decisions it said experts called imprudent. Now, Rubio's team basically responded by calling the newspaper arrogant for describing student debt as a deep financial hole of his making. First, the New York Times attacked Marco over traffic tickets, and now they think he doesn't have enough money. Of course, if he was worth millions, New York Times would then attack him for being too rich, much like they did to Mitt Romney. So said a spokesman in an email. Wall Street Democrats and some independents are getting increasingly nervous that Hillary Clinton will tack to the left in her campaign for the White House. Their fear, Politico writes, is that Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders and former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley in the race, Clinton could be pushed to take a tougher stance on financial reform issues in ways that could make their lives uncomfortable. She's not being pushed anywhere. She's not being pushed anywhere, by the way. She's firmly, a radical leftist, much like Obama. Except she has more money than Obama. And that's okay. Rubio doesn't have the kind of money that the Clintons have, and that's, not okay. Because what little money that he may have, he should have spent it in the manner in which the New York Times thinks he should have spent it. And not buying a speedboat. Oh, that's just imprudent. Buying a speedboat. As if it's any of their business. But, Clinton being in that stupid van, the Scooby van, and then to end the Scooby van tour, she doesn't stay in the Scooby van. She flies first class back home to New York. But that's not imprudent. Not at all. I guess it just means that, if your husband earns $500,000 per speech, then whatever you're worth a lot of money. So I guess anything you do then is not imprudent, right? I don't know. I'm just putting this stuff out there for you folks. You can do with it as you please. But just remember that Rubio is not the wealthy one. He's comfortable, but I don't think he's out there, running up debts that he cannot pay. That would be Democrats anyway. Let's face it, they're the ones who, look at the deficit. Bills that they cannot pay. we have. Well, they also do bills that they want everybody else to pay, not them. But here's something else, too. Tax-exempt groups give hopefuls boost. Several presidential hopefuls are getting help from allied tax-exempt nonprofit groups that have anonymous donors. Anonymous donors. But, hey, the Citizens United thing, you got to get rid of Citizens United because, they're not anonymous. The Wall Street Journal writes, a trend that experts say could pump hundreds of millions of dollars into the 2016 race for the White House. The tax-exempt entities are already doing work on policy development and voter research, as well as hiring and deploying staff for a half dozen aligned campaigns, the Journal says. The presidential hopefuls benefiting from these groups include Jeb Bush, Marco Rubio, Rick Santorum, and Bobby Jindal. The Bush-aligned group recently hired several policy and communications aides, suggesting it could become a place to build a campaign staff until Bush declares his candidacy. And senators want China out of the currency club. Well, we're not even going to get into that. That's China has their own agenda when it comes to currency manipulation. And the United States is not in that plan, by the way. They want the United States out of that plan. Today, just a little side note. I have no idea why I just thought of this, but I just wanted to relay something to you. Today I was told that there was a, who was it? I don't know. I guess there's a cartoon character that Samuel L. Jackson did. And now I can't remember who it was. But evidently I sound like Samuel L. Jackson doing a cartoon voice. I don't know if that was flattering or not. I don't know. Could have been. But, well, I don't know. Could have been flattering. Hey, speaking of finances, did you know about Hillary having a nice and wonderful fundraiser? I love how these people all take on these fundraiser stuff, and they say how that Clinton wants to be she wants to be the champion, if you will, for the American people, the average American person, I guess. And you have to ask, well, what does that mean exactly for the average person? Well, she wants to be a champion for the average person. So that means that she's got to pay attention to what the average person in Washington, D.C., an LGBT fundraiser put on by a bunch of lesbians. And Hillary, she was in Washington for the fundraiser, and it was attended predominantly by lesbian supporters. Now, when you hear how much they paid per plate, you're going to ask, well, how is that an average person's, champion? I got to say it's not.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families